lesson on 10% of a number. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm at the store and somebody wants me to get a credit card, and they're going to say, hey, you're going to save 10% on your sales today. It's going to find out if it's going to be worth it or not. So our goal today is for you to be able to find 10% of a number a couple different ways and find out which is best for you. For sure, method it's going to work all the time, but I'm not sure if it's always easy to do mental math as you set up using a proportion. And if you notice with the proportion, you always put the percent over 100, part over whole, and then you cross multiply. So I'll give you a quick example of that. 10% of $90. Maybe you're going to save 10% today. Is it worth it going to this store? Well, as you set up your proportion, you're always going to put the 10 over 100. Your part is, I don't know, and your whole is 90. So when you cross multiply, you're going to get 900 equals 100, and when you divide, you're going to get $9. Now that method's going to work every single time. It's great for when you're doing some difficult numbers and maybe you have to use a calculator. But I also think that you can do some mental math on this one. So we're going to talk about that. When you're doing 10% of a number, a couple of ways you can think about it is just basically you're dividing by 10 because it's 10 parts. Some of you are also going to start thinking about moving the decimal over this time to the left. Even though the decimal might not be there, you definitely got to move it to the left. So when I think of 10% of 80, maybe you're leaving a tip, 10%. I think about, hey, I'm just going to divide by 10. And that's basically canceling out one of these zeros. So if you notice, I have $8 written here 10 times. This is very helpful for you. For some of you that want to start thinking about it, hey, this right here is 10%. And then if I put both of these together, that is going to give me 20%. So for some of you, it might be easier for you to think in 10% and just go down the line. Maybe it's helpful later when you have to do like 30% of a number. So you're going to do 8 3 times, and that's $24. So 30% of $80 is 24. While others are going to think of it a little bit different, they're going to think about it by as multiplying by 1/10 as a decimal. When you do this, remember how you did 80 times 1, you wrote down 80, then you had to move the decimal over. Still get the same answer both ways. So some of you are going to start thinking of moving the decimal over once. Some of you are also going to be thinking about dividing by 10. So we're going to do a couple examples here. First one, finding 10% of 720. If you're in a division mode, you're starting to think about, I'm dividing this by 10, and you're going to get 72. Since I'm only concerned about one of them, it's going to be $72 is 10%. If I continue on down here, and I'm doing like 10% of a number, some of you might be thinking about canceling out a 0. And that's how you get $80. It's 10% of 80. So that's easy. You got the 0, you just cancel it out. But sometimes if I have possibly like a number and there is no 0, I start thinking about it a little bit different. I think about moving that decimal over. Now where's the decimal at? Right here at the end. I just move it over to the left once, and that will give me the answer of $87.50. All right, try the next two. I'll pause for just a moment. Hopefully you got it quick. This one was $150. This one, $380,000. Must be like a nice home. 10% of that could be like $38,000. That might have to be how much money you're going to have to come up as a down payment for a house. Maybe even more. So we'll talk about that in the next example. Now, while my students chip in a little bit, I could possibly get myself $1 million home here. 10% of that. Hopefully you have it. $160,000 is what I'm going to have to come up with at least as a down payment. $52,600,000. Wow. I don't know how I'm going to come across that amount of money, but if I had to come across 10% of it, it'd be $5,260,000. So basically just moving the decimal over once. So 10%, basically you're dividing by 10. Some of you are thinking of moving by the decimal. This is going to be helpful when you're having to do some real quick mental math. Sometimes you're also in a predicament where you need to know 20%. Standard procedure a lot of times is that you're at a restaurant and you're going to tip anywhere between 10 and 20%. 10% can be done really quick. We just did all those. 20% is if you're good at doubling numbers, you're going to be awesome at this one. And if not, you might have to do a little bit of estimation. So think about 72 doubled. It's $144. So 20% of $720 is $144. So if you're waiting tables and the bill comes up to be $720, you could possibly get a $144 tip. Next, $800. We already know that 10% is 80. You just double it. You get 160. Next one, this sometimes is a challenge to do mental math. You know, you think about the $80, that's 160. And I think about 750 doubled. Let me think. 750 doubled is $15. So why am I saying that? Add that to 160. You got $175. Okay, again, I'm going to pause for a moment. And you should see a couple of these. Just think about doubling. Should have $300, $76,000, $320,000, and this one, imagine. If you got 20% of your sales, maybe you're a salesperson, you sell $52 million worth of a product, you could be bringing home $10 million, a little over $10 million. Wow. Wish I was that lucky. Alright, so what I've got in store for you is a couple more. Is basically thinking about at a restaurant is where you're going to find 10 and 20%. Because sometimes, you know, okay service, you're going to give 10. Really awesome service, 20%. I've got 2 examples here. And I also have another 2 examples here. And the reason I have it written like this is when I'm teaching in a class, I'll sometimes will move the decimal over, like I would move it from here to there as a good visual. I have these numbers written on the next page, so I'm going to ask when you get to that page to pause. So taking a look at this one, if you do me a huge favor, pause it right now, see if you can get the answers. Welcome back. If you either did pause or did not pause, I'm going to show you the answers. And this should be the answers on the first one. $5.27. And then you're probably going to want to round on this one to $24.85. Then get down a little bit further, and here are your values. Again, you're probably going to have to round if you're dealing with money. And hopefully this was helpful. Good luck with it, and hope you learned something today.